Welcome back, digital travelers. Today, I would like to show you how to install the Kali Linux on any Mac OS, all the way from the old iMac until the latest MacBook Pro with the M6 chip. So let's be honest, Apple did build some gorgeous paperweights that's wrapped in aluminum. Under the hood, they're actually just waiting to be liberated. Today, we are not going to break your hardware, and we're not messing around with anti-Nessie dual boot partitions. We're setting up a high-performance virtual command center so you can run the world's most popular penetrating testing system right alongside your daily apps. Maybe Steve Jobs might be rolling around in his grave right now, but your local network is definitely about to get interesting. So let's get to work. Before we start picking on any buttons at all, we need to address a fundamental law of computing: hardware architecture. If you are reviving an old Mac or an iMac from its retirement, then you're looking at an Intel chip. An Intel chip uses a traditional power-hungry instruction set that the computing world has relied on for decades. But if you're running on anything modern, like an M1 and all the way up to an M6 chip, MacBook Pro, you're on Apple Silicon, which will be ARM64. Apple designed these chips on mobile-derived architecture for insane efficiency and battery life. So why does this matter to us? Because an Intel operating system image cannot run natively on an ARM chip, and vice versa. If you try to force an old Intel ISO onto an M-series Mac, your virtual machine will flatline instantly, and all we're going to need is a body bag. That's why we have to match our Kali download file to our specific hardware: ARM64 for Apple Silicon and AMD64 for Intel. Find out which chip you're running and know your system before continuing to download in the next section of this video. Otherwise, the terminal will make you regret it. When you're ready, you want to open your preferred browser. You want to go to Kali's website, that is kali.org. Then you want to find the section that says Download. After you've clicked on the download, you have some options here, and we need to choose Installer Images. And in my case, it's Apple Silicon, and you can pick the first installer right there and then hit Download and make sure to save it. For the modern hardware crowd, our Apple Silicon warriors running anything from an M1 up to an M6 chip, we need a tool that speaks ARM natively. So let's head over to our browser again, and we will go to Mac, but get UTM, but app, and then we will look for the download file. Make sure you save it. UTM is open source and handles Apple's architecture like an absolute champ. And once the download is ready, drag it to your application folder and fire it up. Now let's start the installation of Kali. Click on Create New, Virtualize, and Linux. Here you can adjust how many RAM you want to use and CPU power. Then pick Continue. Select your ISO and Kali that we just downloaded a while ago. And just continue here, continue, and continue. Click on the Linux and Init, and then we go down to Display and change the display card to RANFV that you see here. And then we need to add a new serial. And then you must click on the same button. Now let's start the installation of Kali. Start boot option. Then you want to choose the graphical install, and then you have to follow along here. Just click English, United States, American English. Now you will be asked to add a username and a password, which you have to do, and then just follow along the installation as it comes. After a successful installation, we need to go back to our starting page and click on CD DVD and clear it. Otherwise, Kali will try to start another installation again. And now UTM should start up with our new, fresh Kali interface. And it will ask you to put your username and your password. Allow the access, and here you go. Here is your Kali. It is now running alongside all your native apps here in your Mac. Now, for those of you who still rocking the old legacy Intel Macs and iMacs, your path is slightly different, but just as straightforward. You will need to grab the VMware Fusion Player, which is completely free for your personal use, or VirtualBox. Then you just open your hypervisor, create a new virtual machine, and you mount that AMV64 ISO file that we downloaded earlier, and walk through the graphical installer. Set up your partition, create your username and password, and let the system build out the files. In just a few minutes, your hand-me-down Apple hardware has a brand new purpose in life as a dedicated security rig. Now that we're staring at the iconic Kali desktop, rule number 1 of security: never trust a default install that hasn't been updated. Let's open up a terminal and type sudo apt install and sudo apt full upgrade and y. Password. That was wrong password. Let's try again. Here we go. Now let that update run in the background. While it pulls down the latest packages, let's talk about what this machine can actually do. You got mmap for network mapping, vulnerability scanners, and forensic analysis tools right out of the box. But a quick reality check on wireless auditing. Because you're running inside a virtual machine, the internal Apple Wi-Fi card will not let you do raw packet injection out of the box. If you want to capture handshakes or audit wireless networks later, you want to grab a cheap external USB Wi-Fi adapter that supports monitor mode. But for local enumeration, web app testing, and scripting, your stock Mac setup is already a weapon. And there you have it. Your expensive productivity machine is officially a dual personality threat. If your M6 chip decided to throw a kernel panic, or if you ran into any weird bugs during your installation, drop a comment down below and let me know. Hit the subscribe if you want to see how we actually weaponize this environment in the next video, where we will guide into network reconnaissance and targeting. Stay legal, stay sharp, and I see you in the next one.